Before we get to the project, I want to kind of give you a backstory. That way you kind of know the all the parts in the collaboration that you're about to see. So I'm a special education reading instructor in the video. I have a student named Rick Green, 11th grade, male with a mild case of autism. He's in general education classes about half the time. He has ed tech support in every class except his special education classes. Rick has, in the morning, Rick has a program, a vocational program in the morning, which he takes a bus at 7 a.m. and then returns around 10:45. When he enters the school, he goes into the cafeteria and grabs his lunch and is supposed to head straight to my classroom. But he's often late and starts his lunch during class time, so actually when I'm teaching. And he has a hard time settling down after he finishes his lunch. The transition from getting off the bus, getting his lunch, and coming to class has been difficult. We're trying to resolve that. So I'm going to reach out to Erin, who is his case manager, special education teacher, and she has him on her caseload. So I'm going to ask for some advice on how he can settle down more quickly and how we can get him to class, and how that transition from the bus to lunch to class, how we're going to speed that up. And enjoy. Hi, Erin. How are you holding up today?
I'm well, thanks. How about you?
Doing good, doing good. I wanted to reach out to you today to discuss one of your students on your caseload.
Oh, which one would that be?
I'd like to talk about Rick Green. Rick has been struggling to finish assigned work that I've given to him. I've reached out through email, phone, and haven't heard back. I don't think it has anything to do with his ability, though, like
Uh,
him being able to finish the work.
so this is your Block 5 reading class you're talking about?
Yes, Rick has been coming in late the past week, and he's coming to class late, eating his lunch while I've started the lesson already. Because once he finishes his lunch, it takes him an extra like 10 minutes to settle down and to do his reading work. He's only finished like one assignment all week since he's been coming in late. From
Ah, yeah, I'm wondering if maybe his routine is out of whack here.
Yeah, well, from what I understand, Rick gets his lunch and he's supposed to come directly to class after. One of his peers also goes down on the same bus and he gets his lunch and he, comes right to class. So I know it's not a time constraint issue. So Rick should be in my room around 10:55, 11. And like, as you know, the final bell goes off for everyone to be in class at 11:15. And I start my class shortly after because I got a lot of stuff to get through. But I have a couple questions about his daily routine, about when he gets off the bus into lunch.
Okay, he knows he's supposed to get right off the bus, go right to lunch, get his lunch, and then go right straight to class. And I know sometimes he gets a little off on his routine.
Okay. Does he get dropped off directly to the building on his own?
Yeah, he has an ed tech on the bus, but we're really working on him being independent and navigating school without someone there with him.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I remember that in his IEP, during one of the IEP meetings, I mean. But I have some ideas how we can get Rick redirected in my class. But I don't know him as well as you do. So I wanted to reach out to you to see if there are any options that you might have, like any advice or any kind of things I could do in this situation.
Have you talked to him one-on-one away from the class about the situation?
Yes, I've spoken to him about twice on the topic, but I haven't, because it's like there's a transition from going to his next class. I usually talk to him at the end of my class. I just momentarily talk to him, and he kind of assures me that yeah, I'll be here. So I don't know if he's not taking me seriously, but maybe NedTech should be with him so he can get to lunch and then come to my room. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Right. Have you asked him what he needed to get to class on time? Um, Maybe you can help him to realize that if he walks with his friends, he might get to class on time. I mean, a lot of times when working with him, if it's his decision, he's more likely to follow through on it.
I didn't think of asking that. I kind of spaced on that one. Do you think you would be open to something like that?
Yeah, I think he really wants to please and he likes his friends. So I think if you can get him to, realize if he walks with his friends, he's going to be here on time, that, that might work for him.
Okay, that sounds like it should work. Because I know Johnny, Rick's friend. They're fairly close, so I was surprised he wasn't coming into class with him to begin with. Uh,
Yeah, and I have a good relationship with mom too. So if things are out of whack, I can check with her just in case, and there could be something else going on. But if not, this could be something that works if he just knows that he's going to go with Johnny every day and make sure he gets there.
okay, so I'll speak. Maybe I'll speak to Johnny and see if he can go in on this and kind of push Rick along. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
no,
Rick's also a social butterfly, and he's easily distracted if he sees a staff member, especially administrators that he
yes,
knows that he
that's for
likes.
sure.
He'll lose track of time, and and he'll forget that he's even there talking. I mean, I can mention it to administrators too, that if they see him hanging out wanting to talk, to try and let him know, ask him if he needs to be somewhere so he remembers that he has to get going to class.
Okay. Um, all right. So hopefully this works. If not, um, maybe we should have like a backup plan or something in place, or maybe have a.
Why don't we give him a couple of weeks and see if he can do it now, because I know he really doesn't want to work having an ed tech follow him. So if he really wants to be independent, then we'll give him a chance to show it, and we'll give him 2 weeks, and if he can do it, then he can be real proud that he's changed his behavior without adult support.
Okay. No, I agree. We'll do that. We'll implement it, and we'll see if Rick can come in with Johnny to class. Uh, and I have one other thing though. I'm having trouble settling him down, because after he's done his lunch, it usually takes him 10 or so minutes to kind of calm down. Is there any other advice there?
Uh, Yeah, I'm thinking that he's probably out of the routine on your standard procedures in your class and the routine. So it might take him, writing down step by step for him again exactly what he needs to do so that he can be looking at that and get back into the routine of your class. Because I know he really does want to do the right thing and please you. So if he has a visual to remind him just what he needs to do in your class, it might help.
Okay. So I didn't know he had those in place. Um, that's good to know. Well, that's great. I'll try all those things, and I'm really confident that that'll work, because you know him better than I do, and I've only had him, for a few months.
Right.
Um,
When I see him, I can talk to him too and remind him, because I think it takes all of us just reminding him to make sure that
all
he's
right.
doing the right thing and that he's learning.
And are the parents responsive when you email them to you? They didn't get back to me. Do is it something?
Yeah, it's probably I have a close relationship with them, so they'll probably respond more for me. But I will let them know that you've been trying and get them to
Okay, I appreciate
direct it directly with you so that you can work with them. I mean, it takes a little bit for
it. Okay,
them to get used to new people.
okay. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks, Aaron.
Good luck.
All right, I'll let you get back to what you're doing.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
What I have in front of me here is the script that I used for the collaboration. So I wrote out, what the individual project was and what it covers. I also have the backstory, which I shared at the beginning of the video, and then we just have all our lines and what we did, and I included certain elements that I thought were important, especially in a collaboration meeting. So we have the pauses, or kind of like hand gestures that I think were evident during the video. I also have some open questions that I used that I thought were appropriate for the situation. I think most of them are closed-ended questions, but I think they were appropriate. And as you can see, we had a pretty good script. We had a pretty good script down. So a couple of things that I wanted to cover that I thought the collaboration did a great job covering. I thought this was an interactional collaboration, meaning it's a two-way street. Like there was always constant information being shared back and forth. I don't think it was linear. I mean, maybe there was a part or two that was linear, maybe towards when the advice was given by Aaron about a certain student. As you could tell, me being special ed reading instructor in the video, I was new to the job, so you can tell I'm kind of searching for what to do. I didn't quite handle the situation appropriately, and that's because I didn't know certain information. So I thought it was a pretty good job being an interactional type of collaboration. So it was it was evident that we were equal parties in this, meaning we're partners, we're equals along that range. But there is a sense of referent power, meaning that she kind of has designated power. She's more experienced. She's been in the field many more years than I have, and I think it's evident in the video. The resources that I did not have on me. So some of the things like in an IEP, you can't look up. And I think one of the things was that he had a standard procedures list to follow. I don't think that was on the IEP, but that was a helpful tip, and that I gladly accepted her advice on that one. If they're willing to meet again and check back up, I think that's an important part of the collaboration process. They came to a solution, and then they're going to try that solution, and then they're willing to meet back up if nothing changes, if there's no progress being made. There's definite trust there. This isn't the first meeting between them, and I think you could tell that in the video that they've met before. They're I think they're fairly close colleagues. They're not, someone to reach out on a Zoom video in that sense, reaching out and doing it that way and just kind of jumping right into whatever they want to talk about. I think that shows closeness. So this also shows a good culture at work, in the workplace. Culture being, if kind of like if anyone needs a hand with something, they step in and they share whatever information they can to help along. So because they're all part of the same team, they all have the same goal in mind, and that goal is to help students succeed and help them reach their individual goals. And what's the best way to go about that? The way I perceive the conversation is I greatly appreciated any feedback that she gave me at all, because as you can tell in the video, again, I was the newcomer and I needed that advice. But you could tell it was two professionals talking, and they're just, trying to find a solution to the issue at hand. As far as nonverbal communications, throughout the video, I thought my character showed more facial movements, expressive. Like I was more expressive than the other teacher. The other teacher, Aaron, the experienced one, was more about getting down to business and kind of just, giving the advice needed. I was very animated, I thought, in some parts where I was leaning like this, or I was, listening intently, and you could tell I was taking in the information and I was eager to take it in. So as far as my body language, I thought it was great. I mean, I was, like I said, I was eager. Her body language was, I think, was appropriate for the conversation because she showed she was willing to give the information. I held my eye contact. Uh, the majority of the video of the conversation, I thought I had a good flow to it. Nobody was rushing to any determination. I think there was some thought involved in the solution because as soon as she heard my problem, Erin, the special education teacher, she already knew kind of where to go with it. As far as I already tried some things, I tried to talk to the student individually, and I did not do it from the angle that she had. She had the angle of, did you try asking how we can help them, that Rick, come to class on time? As far as communication goes, I thought the communication went well overall. Listening aspect, I think both parties listened. They both took in information. And as far as using like any assumptions or anything, I don't think there were any assumptions. I think Erin had a proper response, and she didn't rush to the response. She heard me out, let me talk. And I thought it was overall great. I didn't find anything that broke up our communication. None of us were either distracted or looking around. We're very focused on the problem. Um, Other than what you saw my character take notes, didn't brush off any advice given, and Erin treated me with the mutual respect that you would in a work environment or in any kind of environment that holds any kind of community standard. Like, just, it was just very friendly atmosphere, and there was, I mean, there was some laughter towards the end because, it was just, I think, typical of this student, and that's why there was laughter. So thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed.